it's time at Dish with D. That's me. Thank you for clicking on this video and making yourself a priority. I am Denise. This is a special video with a special person. I'm doing a little mini collab with my buddy Roy over at Recipes with Roy. Roy and I are very simpatico when it comes to the way we cook and the way we eat. So I thought this would be a great video to team up with him. And his channel will be linked down below. So when you're finished watching my video, I would love it for you to go over and take a look at Roy. Roy does the Healthy Better Balance, which is kind of like the old Weight Watchers Blue Plan. So if there's something that you would love to, check him out. He's fantastic. He's very thorough. He's like an educator and he teaches you, and you'll just love his channel. And he puts out several videos a week and they're all delish. I'm telling you, if you love sweets, you love food, you'll love Roy's channel. So what is this video about? We're doing our top 10 healthy-ish. And I say that because everybody's version of healthy is slightly different. I mean, you know, it just is. So I say healthy-ish because they are healthy. You know, it all depends on your perspective. I consider them healthy, but there'll be some people that say that's not. And everybody has the right to their own opinion of what they consider healthy. Healthy-ish comfort foods. So most of these are some that I've made on my channel. And if I didn't make them on my channel, I will let you know where I made them from. And some of them aren't even recipes. They're food in general. So let's get started. And somebody's version of comfort food is different. You know, like we all have our version of comfort food. And it's always a little bit different because comfort food comes to me from the heart. When you're a child, you grow up with some things and they soothe your soul. So everybody's is a slightly different, but these are my comfort foods that I've made here on my channel several times. So soups. I find soups are very comforting. When you're sick, you always gravitate towards soup, especially like a chicken soup. It's like, I don't know, it's like Jewish penicillin. Chicken soup, it's like it cures everything. But I don't think I have a chicken soup on the channel, but I do have two of my favorite soups. I have a beef barley, which I love beef barley. That is something my mother always made, and it reminds me of being young and that beef barley soup cooking in the kitchen and the smell of it. I love beef barley soup. Beef barley is my #1 soup, followed a close second by cabbage. I know. You'd think I love this particular cabbage soup that I make. I used to get it when I was in my early 20s at this delicatessen we would go for lunch. And I always loved the little hint of dill in it. And then I'd finally decided, why don't I just make one and throw dill in it and see how it tastes? Man, did I hit it on the head. It brought me right back to that delicatessen. I'm like, you close your eyes and it transports you back. And that's when you know you've made it. Like, oh my gosh, yes. So I definitely be my top 2 soups. Now I do have a bean soup that I've made here that is very comforting. I make it from a ham bone. I make it in the Instant Pot. Can I tell you something? The Instant Pot makes a great pot of soup. In 45 minutes, you put your ham bone, your stock, your dried beans, your carrots, celery, and onion. That might even be it. And in 45 minutes, you have soup. And the beans are creamy. They're perfection. And you pull the rest of that meat off of that ham bone. The boys said, Mom, this is restaurant quality. Okay. Yeah, it's really good. And in fact, I have a ham bone in the freezer. We're going to have to do it when Timmy comes home. It's really, really good. And I'll have everything linked down below of the things that I've talked about. So if you want to go check them out, you can go check it out. If I have time, I'll try to do it. I'll have the link for the video and the link for the written recipe. Okay, another thing that I find comforting is breakfast. I love breakfast. Now, you know I love oatmeal. Oatmeal is comfort in a bowl. And to me, overnight oats is just as comforting. But some people, it's more the hot oatmeal. I prefer the cold oatmeal. To me, that's just a comfort in a jar. I love it. I look forward to it. And it just satiates me and it makes me feel good inside. But any of the overnight oats recipes are just phenomenal. And you can heat them. Just because you make it cold doesn't mean they have to stay cold. You absolutely can warm them up. But lately, my go-to for comfort breakfast food has been my Harvest Hash. I don't know if it's the array of vegetables in there, the amount that you put on a plate. It's just, I usually use sweet potatoes, butternut squash, onions, peppers, mushrooms, and some kind of egg, and maybe a meat product, chicken sausage, Canadian bacon. It's so good. The combination of that, of those squash and that sausage, the chickens, it's just marriage made in heaven. It is so good. Not to be outdone by the hash waffle. Oh my God, hash waffles. I don't know. Lately, I have been craving hash waffles and hash. I guess it's just that combination of the potatoes and the, like I said, the meat and the vegetables, and you get that caramelization in there. It's so satisfying. And that is what it is. You want something that's going to satisfy your soul. And that satisfies my soul. Right now, my mouth's just watering thinking about it. So definitely the breakfast hashes. French toast bakes. Oh my God, nothing better than a French toast bake. Now, back in the day, I used to make them by the trays, you know, like the pound dropper one. But then I figured, you know what? I'm the only one eating these most times. Why don't I just make a one and done and make it in the mini loaf pan? So I have several of those made. I have so many different ones. And it's just a variation of changing flavors. And that's a lot of, you know, that's the thing. You can have one base recipe and just change the flavors, like extracts and certain types of, you know, brown sugar versus white sugar, vanilla versus almond extract. Sometimes you put fruit in there. Sometimes you put chocolate chips. Sometimes you put cinnamon. Sometimes you don't. And it changes it up. And it's such comforting to have that warm bread with the warm syrup on there. Comfort food at its breakfast at its finest. Love me a good French toast bake. And again, it's just so, you have to be satisfied. I think that's part of comfort. It's that satisfaction, and food should hit your soul. And I just, you know, and even though I'm making light food, it still hits my soul because it's those notes that it hits. And when you just feel satisfaction, you don't go back looking for more because you're so satisfied. When you're eating something that's low in point versus satisfaction, you're going to keep looking. And that's what we want to, we stop the looking, make yourself what you want, lower in point in calories, and be satisfied with it. There, you know, it's a, you know, it's a fine line, but you'll get there if you keep trying. I just made a tuna casserole on Friday, and that's very comforting. My husband loved it. Steve grew up with tuna casserole. We never had it. So for me, it's not something that's very comforting. It doesn't remind me of my childhood because my mother never made it. But it reminded Steve of his childhood. So for him, that was one of those hug in a plate things. He loved it. He couldn't stop saying how good it was and best one he's ever had. He says that. And it was very easy. It's all made from the Dollar Tree. I tell you, it cost me under $10. It made 6 servings. They were very nice portions and very satisfying. It is. And there's nothing more comforting than pasta. From an Italian family, that's my next one. Sunday sauce. I grew up with Sunday sauce every Sunday. We had fried meatballs in the afternoon when she was making the sauce, and then at night we'd have Sunday sauce. We called it gravy. You wouldn't know it as gravy, but I refer to it here as Sunday sauce. It's when you have the meatballs and the Italian sausage and the nice pork. My mom always used the pork ribs, the country ribs, and it would simmer all day, and that flavor would infuse into that sauce, and it was a fantastic. And we always had spaghetti on Sunday, and then we'd have spaghetti twice a week. And the second was usually Wednesday or Thursday. She'd always make, she called it a cut macaroni, which was usually fusilli, ziti, shells. That was always during the week we would finish up the sauce. But oh my gosh, it was, that just gets all infused. That's Timmy's favorite. Anytime it's his birthday, what do you have? I want Sunday sauce, Mom. And when he's home, you making Sunday sauce? He's the biggest one out of everybody that wants Sunday sauce. He loves it with that Parmesan. We always use Logatelle. I always use Parmesan, but back growing up, you grate the Logatelle on there. Now, I do have 2 recipes on the channel. One for traditional Sunday sauce, if you just wanted to make it traditionally with the regular meatballs and stuff. I also have a turkey bolognese, which is a loose meat sauce. That's really good. It's pretty light, pretty low in points, and it's really, really good. So if you wanted to try that one, that would be one to try. Or if you want to go for the Sunday sauce, I think once in a while live a little bit, you know? You're not having it every day. You know, just have some Sunday sauce, and it cooks all day on the stove, and it just infuses. And the sausage is usually my favorite, because I'm not a huge sausage lover, but when it sits in that sauce all day, it gets so tender. It literally melts in your mouth. It is so good. Again, touches my soul. It's like, and it just brings me back to my childhood. You taste it, and it's that feeling, and that's that comfortness that you get. And for me also, I also have one bubble bake on the channel that I created, but I did a lot of, is it Drizzle Me Skinny or Pound Dropper? I think it was Drizzle Me Skinny. I will have them linked below, of bubble bakes. It's using this small can of biscuits, and you cut them in 4s, and then you make the sauce, whatever, usually with chicken. There's several different kind, and then you lay the biscuits at the bottom, and you put the meat, and then you put the sauce on top, and you bake it, and the biscuits swell up. Biscuits and gravy. I mean, it's a comfort thing. So good. And I have one that I made with 2-ingredient dough. I think I called it cracked out chicken, something like that. Kind of combined a few recipes, but I will have mine linked. And if I remember to link hers as well. So good. There's nothing more comforting than one pot meals. It's like you can put everything in one pot, and you just, like, I also have a meatloaf. Now, there's nothing more comforting than meatloaf. Now, I did a riff. Remember the Big Mac salad? Well, I did a Big Mac meatloaf. And I've made it with every different meat. I've done chicken, I've done turkey, I've done beef. I've even done meatloaf mix, I think. And they all come out good, because you're all putting the same in things inside. Like, it's putting that mac sauce, mock mac sauce in there, and it just creamies up the meat, and you have little chopped up pickles in there. So it just goes with each meat. I've made it each time, and nobody's complained each time. It's been fantastic. But there's nothing more comforting than meatloaf. Love a good meatloaf. And that one is, like I said, depending on the type of meat you use determines the point that you have to charge yourself. If you want to use the 0-point turkey or chicken, use that. You'll cut out points. Like I said, it's just something, it's fun to have that, and you can go whatever you decide to use that day, or whatever you have around in the freezer. And sometimes there's no harm in spending some points on some food. Really good, comfort, delicious food. I love it. Oh. Now for me, this may vary for a lot of people, but for me, desserts are a comfort. Cake. And you see, your girl's got a lot of cake on this channel. I try to make mini loaf cakes, because if I make a big cake, it doesn't always end well. I have a hard time with cake and cookies and sweets in general. So I like making the one and dones, because they're not around. I'm not going to make another one. No, but if I make one, I make enough so I can finish it. So I've made little cakes. The apple one, the Esther's Jewish apple cake. That one was one of the things that just surprised me. It reminded me of my mother's Jewish apple cake. Shocking. I was like, I did not think it would be that good. I was like, it'll be okay. It was really good. And I was like, wow. And I did what I put the apples in the middle, just like she did. So when you have something, again, that's reminiscent of your childhood, it's a comfort. It just brings you back. So I have the Jewish apple cake. I have whoopie pies. Now, who doesn't love a good whoopie pie? A cake with cream in the middle. I mean, there's nothing more comforting than cake and cream. It's like, and when you can fit that into a healthy lifestyle, you don't feel like you're on a diet because you're eating cake and cream. Like, who's ever had cake and cream while they're trying to lose weight? Most people wouldn't dare have it. They're like, I can't have that. And when you make something low in points and calories, you could have it often. You could have it a couple nights a week. You don't have to wait once a month for something when you can fit it in, because you've made it lower in points and calories, and not sacrificing taste. That is it in a nutshell. You don't want to sacrifice taste for points, because you're not going to stay with it. It's not going to remind you of your childhood. It's going to be like, my mom didn't make this. Ugh. No, you want to be like, oh. Close your eyes. And like I said, for your soul. When it hits your soul, you know, it's just like, oh yeah. And that's what you want. You want that satisfaction, that sigh, that it hit your soul. That is the ones that I make. Now, a few other things that I have here are things like chocolate. I like chocolate. Chocolate soothes my soul. Chocolate is comfort to me. Chocolate makes me feel better. So I like chocolate. So Lily's has been a game changer for me. The company Chalk Zero has been a game changer for me, where I could order individual little chocolates wrapped up. You heard me. Little individual chocolates. And they're 2 points. And they're really good. I absolutely love them. I haven't ordered any recently, but every once in a while I'll put an order in, and they're really good. And I love that they're individually wrapped, because if it was a big bar, again, doesn't end well. But I don't open more than one. Occasionally I might, but for the whole I really don't. Because and when you give yourself something often, you tend not to want it as much. You don't binge on it. Like when you deny yourself something, you make it like it's this thing, and it's like, oh, all you do is think about it, because you're not. When you satisfy the need for it with something that hits the note, it's satisfaction, and you don't desire it. So that's the thing, especially doing sugarless chocolate, sugar-free and sugar substitutes. I don't crave sugar anymore. Oh, it was horrible when I would have regular sugar. It just makes me want it. And I see it happen when we're out and we're like at a restaurant and you order dessert and you have it. It's like, oh my gosh. It's like you can feel the difference. You're like, I want more. I want more. Where if I was having one of my monk fruit inspired desserts, I don't get that way. I don't get that sugar rush and that sugar high anymore. And that has been a game changer for a person like me who loves sweets. It has been. So definitely some sugar-free chocolates. They're just, Lily's chips I just can't ever see me never having them around, because I absolutely love them. And I add them to the mug cakes. I add them to the whoopie pies. I add them to the cakes because I can. It's just, and it adds so much for so little points and calories. And it doesn't sacrifice taste because it's phenomenal. And also is a comfort thing for me is lattes. Now, I don't like coffee. I'm more of a matcha latte, chai latte kind of gal. And when you can make your own lattes at home that are phenomenal, oh my gosh, I don't miss Starbucks. See, we don't have many coffee shops around here like some people do. We have a couple, but not a lot. We have mostly Starbucks and Dunkin', but we have a few. But they use mixes. They don't use pure matcha or like chai. They're all mixes with sugar in them. So if I get one, I'm going to pay 10 to 12 points for it. But if I make it at home, I only have to pay 1 point, because my chai and my matcha are 0. I just have to pay for my 1 cup of milk, my 1 cup of almond milk. So I have no problem making my lattes here. And I even could add whipped cream on mine because it's only 1 point. So I throw a little points worth of whipped cream on there. Throw some fun skinny syrups in. Oh my gosh, skinny syrups. Talk about, what's a whole other video. But making them like the maple bourbon pecan chai I had the other night. Are you kidding me? And I put the little s'more sprinkle dust on top. So good. Again, it's 1 point, or maybe 2 with the whipped cream. And that is just comforting, because I could have something and that makes me feel normal. I feel like if I'm not going to spend 10 and 12 points for a latte. If I do, it's not going to be often. So this I could have every day. I could have a latte every day if I wanted to, because I could fit it in. And they're delicious. My matcha, I use pure matcha versus the matcha mix. And it tastes so much better because you're using pure matcha. You're using chai versus the mixes that they use. So those things are comfort to me to the max. I absolutely adore them. And I've showed many times about my lattes, and it's just delicious. And like I said, it has to soothe your soul. And when you have it, you're just like, oh, that's satisfaction. And that's what I want for you. So I will link everything that we talked about in the description box below. Hopefully, there should be a video for mostly everything I talked about and a written recipe. If there isn't, I will note that down below. So that is it for me. Now go check out my lovely friend Roy and see what his top 10 healthy-ish comfort food is. Roy's got some really good recipes. I can't wait to go watch. So go check out Roy. Let him know you came from Dish with D. Tell him you're a friend of mine and he will welcome you with open arms. And if you're coming from Roy's channel, thank you for consider hitting that subscribe button. Join our community here. And that is it for me. If you are new here, welcome. I am Denise. I dish everything healthyish lifestyle. I am currently a Weight Watchers lifetime member, a few pounds over goal, fighting to get back. I am on the diabetic plan right now, because why not, you know? Just give the diabetic plan a try. 'Cause it's on the app, why not try it? So that is it for me. I do delve into healthy once in a while. I am a Healthy Pro member. Also, if you want to try Healthy, I can give you $5 off your subscription if you're new or you're coming back. If you're just renewing for the next year, they won't accept it. But if you're going back or you're a new customer, you could use my code, and I'll have that link down below as well for $5 off for your premium, which is nice enough they gave me that, because I said, I'm always using somebody else's coupon. They're like, we'll give you your own. Like, okay. So that is it. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. And thank you for watching Vlogmas Day 13. I forgot to mention Vlogmas. So that is it. I will dish with you another day. Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day. And go check out Roy. Bye-bye, my lovelies.